Hi guys, and a warm welcome to Axing Anxiety in 10 with Dr. M, Vlog 2, Series 2. So, Dr. M from the Pinnacle Practice, London's Harley Street, working in association, as you know, with my wonderful colleagues over in Galway, Ireland at Book Hub Publishing. Now, today's vlog is all about A from B.A.T.H.I.T, acronym and mnemonic of how to axe anxiety in 7 steps. So the aspect of A that we're taking today is analysis, and this is incredibly important because it's about digging really deep to get to roots to remove your anxiety for good. Now, the reason any of us would experience anxiety is because there's some deep-rooted fear, or there's something our mind is alerting us to that we need to address. So ultimately there's 2 emotions in the world, that's love and that's fear. Everything positive is derived from love, everything negative that really bothers us and stops us and prevents us from living the life we really can be is derived from fear. So it's about digging deep as far as anxiety is concerned to actually remove any fears. And the way we can do this is really asking ourselves what it is we're actually fearing, and keep asking that and digging for what purpose that's actually scaring us, or for what purpose that's actually troubling us, and really working out what the deepest fear is that then we can work on and remove. And the way we do that is take the positive learnings from it, and we look at why it's actually troubling us and where that comes from. So to help in order to do that without me sat in front of you and really guiding you, is to actually do some of the introspective quizzes that I have designed. So it's always a series of questions that you work through, and then I've calculated that so it can give you an automatic digital outcome that will guide you as to what might be a root or a source of your anxiety, so then you can best go on and treat it. So first of all, I have the anxiety analysis indicator. Now, this isn't an exact science because it's not possible to be. So it indicates what the root cause of your anxiety may be, because there are so many reasons for anxiety. So we have things like, obviously a root cause. So that's stemming from some sort of trauma that you may have had. You may be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder that is giving you flashbacks, and that may be giving you anxiety. It may actually come from an intuitive source, so that means you might be picking up on other people's energy, almost like a telepathy, where you can feel what other people are feeling, so you actually take on other people's emotions. That's quite an interesting one. It's a skill in itself that people develop because it's using a very different part of the brain. However, it can cause severe anxieties, and you can also predict things through it as well that can give you anxiety and anxious dreams. So there's a whole host of complications within that. So although it's a very good thing, it can also be quite horrible in terms of the symptoms you can experience if you're unaware of this and you don't quite know how to best work with it or treat it. Something I've had since I've been 4 years old. So I obviously didn't understand it at that age, so I used to go around asking the other children if they get butterflies in the tummy, or they start to feel nervous, and of course the other kids didn't have a clue what I was talking about. But that's something I constantly used to question myself from growing up as a child. Why would I be nervous about that? Why is what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling this at certain periods of time? However, as an adult, I obviously know what was going on there, and I know how to best deal with it. So that's one particular source as well. There's also something I call New Age fear, and that's about living in today's modern world, and I'm sure we all experience this in some form with where anxiety is concerned, you know, because we have things like social media frenzies basically that we've never had before, and there's the competition of everything online, there's the expectations and the pressures people feel under to be a certain way, to conform to certain images or certain behaviors, especially, you know, certain generations when they see things on Instagram or the latest ones that are out, because there's always so many different social medias to keep up with as well, and people can be bullied if they're not on a certain one, and a whole host of things. And also, you know, if anybody has followed my other vlogs and things, you'll know that I talked about the lady in the park who told the little child off for trailing behind, who went up to everybody in the park offering them sweeties, and she had a real go at him for not talking to strangers because it was dangerous. So that's all part of New Age fear, because she as a mother shouldn't be fearing the little toddler just going up talking to people, doing no harm, nobody else was doing any harm. But there's also this issue, you know, that people overgeneralize, that people are dangerous, people are paedophiles, and the problem is, yes, we have to be aware of certain issues in today's age with things being more prevalent, but it's not to overgeneralize, because that is always going to limit life, because that child will probably now grow up more insular because it happened, she gave him such a telling off in his imprint period that he may well be scared to go and talk to people generally, or just say hello when he's walking down the path, because he'll probably always remember that point in time where his mother had a real go at him for just being sweet and going up to people and just being socializing. So that's what we're talking about in terms of new age fear. And, you know, even all the media that's about the news, an example being COVID-19 again, how much negativity is suggested out there. And let's be honest, it's things we don't actually know are really happening all the time in the news, other than what the media are feeding us in the way they want it to be heard and it to be perceived. So again, this is all the new age fear that can get really out of hand with things. So lots of people have anxieties there. Even some people don't want to bring children into the world as it is at the moment. So there's certain ways on how to deal with that as well, if it's that's the source that's really affecting you as a root. We've also got to remember there's also normal anxieties, also normal pressures, and it's important to establish what is normal as to what's a problem. And something's only a problem if it's really limiting your life, like blocking energy as well. Another important one, another source of anxiety, is medical anxiety. So it may surprise you that certain things, even certain foods, can induce anxiety. So food intolerances, even things like toxic mold that you may not even know that is in your house, to things like Lyme's disease, if you've been out and been bitten by an infected tick or something, that can cause anxiety, to chronic conditions. So that's something I experienced, which was absolutely awful when I was about 17 to 20-ish. I had an undiagnosed genetic condition that was causing severe anxiety, such that I thought I had a brain tumour at the time, because it was so intense. So if that was left undiagnosed, that would be a very life-limiting condition. However, I fought to be diagnosed because I knew something wasn't quite right. So again, this is where I say anxiety is a good thing in itself, because it alerts you to something that's been wrong and something that needs to be addressed. However, the symptoms of anxiety are harrowing, so it's important to again establish between the two what I'm saying there. But if it wasn't for anxiety in itself, I would be on my way to being dead right now. So it's really important to take anxiety as a good thing and listen to your body. What's tapping on your mind? What's it telling you to look out for and be aware of? And this is why analysis is so important, to ask those questions so you can really get to the root. So although I went through an absolute harrowing, awful experience with anxieties and a whole host of other symptoms, if my body didn't alert me to, hey, look, there's something really wrong here, it's not quite right, then, as I said, it would be a very different, nasty outcome. So medically, there's all kinds of things, from things that are very important to be addressed, to something that's very simple, like low iron levels, that can cause real anxiety, or low vitamin B levels, that can cause bad anxiety. So they are very easily and simply fixed with diet, with supplements. So it's important then, if you come out as scoring something that points towards a medical route of anxiety, just go and get the simple blood test done, and your doctor will be very happy to help you with that and point you in the right direction. Then all of a sudden, bang, your anxiety may be lifted. However, if there's something deeper still, and often there are other routes to anxiety, because there's always roots behind roots, and again, that's what the analysis indicator is all about. It will basically detect that and help you and point you in the right direction. And then obviously the further 7 steps, and then what will be the further book in the 7-day removing anxiety program, that will all help you to completely emotionally cleanse and completely get rid of anxiety for good. So the anxiety analysis indicator is one way to analyze your anxiety and help you to keep asking those all important questions. I also have another introspective quiz to do probably afterwards, because like I said, there's 2 emotions in the world, there's love and there's fear, and anything that's really blocking you and life limiting you or causing anxieties is to do with fear. So I have out of your comfort zone test, which is the zone test. So that's a few more detailed questions, and that really helps establish your current comfort zone level and where you are in life at the moment, and more importantly, where you can go out in the future if you do certain work to remove any limitations, to remove anxiety and to remove those energy blockages, just how far you can go. So you can do these introspective quizzes and analysis before you do the work, and then you can do it after you've done the work, to do it as a measure to see how far you've come and what you can do. I also have as an introspective analysis that will really help you in conjunction with the first analysis indicator, and that's my intuition indicator, which is a very simple series of questions that will just help detect how intuitive you are. So if you score really highly on that, it may well be a source of your anxiety, so then you can look at how to deal with it. So that's A from B.A.T.S.H.I.T, and that's really all to do with analysis and how to get to the root and how to really get digging. And then when you get into the book, either out of your comfort zone or the 7 days program, that will really hammer you with questions to get digging really deep. So you will always get to the roots beyond the root, because then we've even got issues and topics like epigenetics. So for example, if when your mother was carrying you, she was really anxious about certain things, that may well have filtered through to you as well. So that's also something to analyze and look at. But there's so many roots, and I can go on and on, but we're only giving little snapshots here of what the aspects of B.A.T.S.H.I.T are. So hopefully that will help you, and there's all the resources there to go on to explore. They're all free introspective quizzes, so you can get started with those and have some fun. And so in our next vlog, which will be vlog 3, we'll be taking T of B.A.T.S.H.I.T, and I'll be looking at time out and how that can really help with anxiety. So I hope you have a good day, and I will speak to you very soon.